Before the video starts, let me give you a bit of background information. In the Clash Royale arena and Brawl Stars arenas, there are many troops and brawlers that battle day in and day out. Meanwhile, there are also just regular civilians or villagers who simply spectate and do other regular day things that normal people would do. Basically, Clash Royale and Brawl Stars is like a competitive sport, and the troops are like pro players in those sports. Anyway, the story of the Musketeer, the three Musketeers from Clash Royale, and Shelly from Brawl Stars all starts off with the same beginning. Back in 2015, before the Clash Royale arena was ever opened up to the rest of the world, there was a regular old family of Clash citizens who lived in a town very close to where the Clash Royale arenas were being built. At this time, there was no Brawl Stars, and there was no Clash Royale yet. There was just Clash of Clans and tons of regular old towns. So in this specific town outside where they were currently constructing what would eventually become the Clash Royale arena, there was a regular family. The father was a hunter where he would take his musket to the forest and go hunting for food that he could later trade with at the village market. The father was a hard worker and had a huge family. By some miracle, he was lucky enough to have 5 daughters in total, one set of triplets and then 2 older sisters. At night, the hunter would spend time with his family and occasionally take them out to go exploring. One day, the father took his 5 daughters to go explore around the new arenas that were being built not far from their home. When they got there, they could hear lots of cannons firing and battling going on inside, and it sounded like a really fun time. So they snuck into the arena and sneakily watched from the stands. From there, they could see a knight fighting some skeletons, and a hog rider and a barbarian narrowly avoiding a flying arrow. The 5 daughters all sat there all starry-eyed, watching some of these professional troops battling it out. A few minutes later, the builder from Clash of Clans, alongside with the king, came marching into the arena. The king ordered all the troops out and told them that their training was done for the day. The troops all obeyed and exited the arena. Once they were all gone, the king looked to the builder and said, "Okay, show me what you wanted to show me." The builder then unveiled what looked like an army of wooden barrels. But to their surprise, the father and his 5 daughters all continued to watch in amazement as the builder then powered all of them on and they began to fly. These flying machines then started to fire some mini cannonballs from a mini cannon sticking out of it. They fired a few cannonballs before all of them started to smoke, and a few seconds later they all exploded and fell to the ground. Every single one of the flying machines blew up and their machine parts were scattered all over the battlefield. The king, who initially looked really impressed by all the machines, then started to look a bit more disappointed, and he told the builder to keep working on it and to let him know when he figured them out. The builder told him that they might need another year or so before they are finally ready for the king's arena. The builder and the king both then left the battlefield. Once they were in the clear, the 5 daughters and the father went down to the battlefield and started to dig through some of the flying machine's broken parts. All of the girls found some really cool looking mini cannons that were a part of the flying machine and ended up not getting destroyed in the explosion. So they decided to keep them and then took them back home with them. When they got home, the father tinkered a bit with it. When they got home, the father tinkered a bit with the mini cannons and ended up fixing them and turning them into his own little muskets. He even adjusted it a bit so that it could be better suited to be held in the hands of a person rather than a flying machine. He then handed what is now called a musket back to his daughters to go try out. The 5 daughters then grabbed the new musket and took it outside to give it a try. Immediately, the daughters were all naturals with it. Well, all of them except for the oldest sister. The triplets and the second oldest were all expert marksmen with the new muskets, but it turned out that the oldest one had a bad eyesight, and so she had a much harder time hitting the targets at long range. So meanwhile, the other 4 sisters were practicing away. The oldest sister went to their father. The father took the musket back and decided to make a few little tweaks to help it accommodate her poor eyesight. The father ended up transforming the long-range musket into more of a buckshot shotgun. After he finished crafting the new weapon, he handed it back to the oldest sister. The oldest sister was excited to give it a try, so she went outside and started practicing with it. And as days went on, the 5 sisters continued to try out their new muskets and shotgun. But the oldest sister was always reminded of her inabilities to shoot at long ranges. It felt to her that she was the least talented of all of her sisters. So while the other sisters were able to hit bullseyes from super far away, the oldest sister would be lucky if she could even hit a tree from standing right next to it. After a few more days of tinkering with their new toys, the second oldest sister, who was the best with a musket, decided to try out for the king at the brand new Clash Royale arenas. The oldest sister really wanted to try out for the king as well, but after she mentioned it to her sisters and father, they almost laughed at her and told her that she could barely even hit a tree from 5 feet away. The oldest sister was pretty distraught by this, and so when the day of tryouts came by, she sat back and watched her younger sister head off to the Clash Royale arenas. She later decided to even go after her and sneak into the arena to watch the tryouts. When she got there, she saw all the troops in all of their glory. They were all so talented. And then she saw her younger sister out there, holding her own and doing some incredible things. She then realized that her father and sisters were right. There was no way that she would be cut out for this kind of lifestyle. She ended up getting really upset and depressed by this and walked out to the arena. She just knew in her mind that she would never be as good as her Musketeer sister. So when she was walking back, she wasn't in the right mindset, and so she decided to walk the opposite way for a little bit, just to give her a bit of time to gather her thoughts. She ended up walking for so long that the landscape ended up changing a bit. She ended up walking into a desert where the air was super dry and there were cacti sprinkled all over the place. As she was walking, she saw some redhead standing there. She started to make her way over to him to ask for directions back home, since she has been walking forever and she was now very lost. As she got close, one of the cactuses looked like it had come to life, and it threw a deadly projectile towards the redhead. The oldest sister saw all of this happening and made a run for the redhead. She ended up diving at him and knocking him out of harm's way. And as soon as they got out of their way, some more enemies came at them. And the events that unfolded next were pretty crazy and very difficult to explain, and so I'll just let you watch for yourself.
What is this place?
Well, you got a vest-wearing cactus, grave-digging bats, and a killer biker crow. Oh, and if you stop to explain, you're a goner.
Okay. Someone normal.
So together, the oldest sister, the redhead, and the music-playing mariachi guy fought off all the enemies. It was an intense battle, but with the help of the oldest sister's shotgun, they were able to fend them off. Being exhausted, the redhead and the older sister sat next to each other, and she asked him what his name was. He replied saying that his name was Colt, and he then asked, "What about you?" And there she replied, "My name's Shelly." Once Shelly and Colt got introduced to each other, they both got up and continued walking. Shelly began asking where he came from and what his story was, but before he could answer, they ran into the builder from Clash of Clans. Shelly could recognize the builder from back at the Clash Royale arena when the king and him were testing out those flying machines. So Shelly and Colt went over and started to talk to the builder. They asked him what he was doing all the way out here in the desert. The builder told them that he finished his work at the Clash Royale arena, and at Clash of Clans he was getting bored from building the same thing day in and day out. It had been forever since he was allowed to release the newest town hall, and so he was looking for something else to do. The builder had heard about this place far, far away where there were just a bunch of regular people that lived in cities. In these cities, apparently, there were tons of regular people, but there were also tons of special individuals who had all sorts of special abilities and powers. Almost like superheroes in a way. So with a little bit of financing from the Clash Royale Kings, the builder was setting out to build an entirely new arena that these special individuals could compete in. The builder then told them that he oversaw them fight off some bandits, and that they were exactly the types of people that he was looking for to compete in his new arena. He then asked them if they would like to come with him to his brand new Brawl Stars arena. Colt and Shelly both realized that they had nothing better to do, and Shelly was also feeling good that she was finally wanted somewhere and good at something. And so both Colt and Shelly agreed to go with the builder. The builder then took Shelly and Colt towards the city, and once they got there, he began explaining how he had already found a roster of other brawlers that we'll soon meet. They were all pretty scary and special in their own way, so try not to be intimidated when you do meet them. In fact, you already met a few of them. That crow, cactus, and vampire that attacked you earlier were all actually brawlers inside of this new arena, so you'll be seeing plenty more of them. When Shelly and Colt got to the new city, the builder showed them to their hotel where they could stay. And then the next day, he told them to meet them at the arena at dawn. And when Shelly and Colt got there the next day, the builder started to show them the ropes of how things would work. He basically walked them through some sort of small tutorial. Once they finished the tutorial, the builder allowed them to start their first real match. They were instructed to grab all the gems before the other team does, and to defend them at all costs. Shelly and Colt bolted into action, and they fired their weapons at them and took out enemies left and right. They were really a dynamic duo, and before they knew it, they had all of the gems and won the game. The builder was very impressed by this, and after winning many more games in a row, the builder brought Shelly a little gift. It was some sort of special gadget that was basically a small mini rocket in her shoes that bolts her forward a few steps. The builder said that he had been working on it for a while, but unfortunately though, the mini rocket gadget was so small that he could only hold enough gas for 3 uses. Shelly welcomed this gift with open arms and got right into her next battle. So far she was having a blast and was so happy that she finally felt needed. Although despite all of her success, she was really starting to miss her own family back in the Clash Royale arena. Nonetheless, she continued on and kept dominating the Brawl Stars arena. She was already powerful enough, but then one day after she was getting very experienced, she was walking back from one of her battles and she came across the special shop that just opened up close to her hotel. The shop was selling all kinds of unique items, but one that really caught Shelly's eyes was the special shotgun pellets. They were coated in some sort of sticky material. They were quite expensive, and so Shelly wasn't able to buy too many of them. She then loaded them into her shotgun and took them out for a spin next battle. When she shot her enemy with her special pellets, they were significantly slowed down for a few seconds until the sticky bullets wore off. Now with this new special ability, Shelly was more powerful than ever before. So once again, she continued to rip it up at even the highest leagues in Brawl Stars. But finally, after years of battling, she was starting to really miss her family back home. And so one day, with the help of the builder, Shelly was able to take a little vacation and travel back home for a few days. And not only did she get to see her family, she also got a chance to be featured in the Clash Royale arenas with her other sisters, who were now the Musketeer and the Three Musketeer. It was one crazy reunion, and Shelly got the best of both worlds, where she got to see her family, and also finally feel needed inside of the Clash Royale arenas as well, just like her sisters. And so after a nice long family visit, Shelly was finally ready to go back to the Brawl Stars arena where she was a superstar there. And so as a small going away present, Shelly's father gave her a small vial of a heal potion. He told her to use it when she needed it most. And so on that note, Shelly journeyed all the way back to the Brawl Stars arena. And now with her vial of heal spell, she now had this new special ability to quickly drink some of her heal spell during a battle to immediately rejuvenate some of her health. Unfortunately though, she didn't have very big pockets or any storage area, and so she was only ever able to take the heal spell or the sticky bullets with her into battle. But even with one of her abilities, she was still an unstoppable force in the Brawl Stars arena. And that there is the entire story of how Shelly made it into the world of Brawl Stars. And hopefully that also answers a lot of the unanswered questions regarding Shelly's origin, her gadgets, her star power, and any other questions that you may have had. If you do have any other questions that I didn't address in this story about Shelly, or even any other brawlers for that matter, then please leave a comment down below, and make sure to drop a like if you did enjoy. And lastly, subscribe for more Brawl Stars stories. If this video gets enough likes, I'll continue doing a ton more Brawl Stars stories in the future. There's tons of other brawlers to do, so there's lots of content to be made. So just drop a comment and a like on the video if that's something you guys want to see. Anyways, that's going to be it for today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. Hope you guys all have a fantastic rest of your day, and stay safe out there, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Peace out.